Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wicked Good Show. I am your host, Dylan, DJ Clubberlang. I am joined by my co-host, my life partner, my BFF when it comes to podcasting, Brian. Brian, what's up?
Not much. How it's been a while. Not for us. We podcast
Yes.
together weekly, but for this show, we'd probably be on like episode 400 or something by now if we kept it weekly. But it's kind of a fun occasional treat now.
Yeah, we've been talking about bringing back this show for a while. We obviously have our Traders podcast. We have a Survivor podcast. Our Survivor podcast has been having a very, very good season with Survivor 50. So if you like Survivor, go watch and listen to our podcast, The Blindsiders. We've been having a lot of fun there this year. But this was our original show. This was our flagship show for you and I to start podcasting together.
Yes.
We originally started as Brian and Dylan Take on the World. That was when our very first episode was the Black Panther review.
Yes. Oh my god,
among
dude, that was
many others.
so long ago, a bunch of apartments ago. Like, what a ride. That was what
2018, I think.
2018. Yeah. Wow.
So we've come a long way. We did Oscar previews. We did the fabled Ready Player One podcast that we lost and had to re-record. Let's see. We talked video games.
Just every year we should just do a Ready Player One podcast again.
I mean, I rewatch Ready Player One at least twice a year, so I'll be definitely caught up on it.
Yeah, you just let me know next time. I'm starting to watch it. I'll pop it in. Can do a show.
As you can see now by our background, we are both aboard the mothership. We've been beamed up. This is our home station now, but we've wanted to come back to this podcast for a while. Shout out Brian Wong. Brian Wong, probably our very first listener.
Absolutely.
Has been very dialed in on the Survivor Blindsiders podcast this year. Big fan. I get a recap text from him after every episode. I knew that he would be somebody that would listen to this show. So if anything, we did it for Brian Wong, much like we do everything else in our life. We do it for Brian Wong. So shout out Brian Wong. And I hope our new big fan, Scott, is listening. Shout out Scott, Boy Scout Scott. He's out there. Daryl, if we see Daryl pop in, a lot of these fans that we've met through the Blindsiders, that would be pretty cool. Mainly, I think we just want to do this because every time we record Blindsiders or our Traders podcast, we tend to go on tangents talking about things that have absolutely nothing to do with the Blindside or with the Survivor or the Traders. So this is a good place for us to vent. This is a safe space for us to get our hot takes out. I have probably a couple I'm going to say today. Mainly, we just like to talk about movies, TV, video games, kind of pop culture in general. We can go on and do a whole 2-hour podcast on Bagel Boss if that's something you're interested in, because that's something we've done in the past. That's pretty much the gist of what goes on here. So I am very excited to be back here, Brian. I'm very excited to I'm excited any chance I get to talk with you, but I am very excited to finally be doing this because it's been probably over a year since I think it's been actually almost specifically very close to a year, because last podcast we did was discussing Battlefront 2 and the resurgence it had during May the 4th. So I think it's been very close to almost exactly a year.
Yeah, our last episode was June 10th of last year, so almost a whole year ago.
So I'm happy. We have things to talk about. Shout out Brian Wong. Shout out Mimic ate his microwave. This is a lit podcast today. First up, very topical. The new Odyssey trailer came out. Apparently, The Odyssey is the most controversial film to come out in quite some time, because people are either incredibly hyped for it or hate it. Most likely, I think most of us probably fall. I'm actually very excited for it. We live in a generation of people who love to be miserable. They enjoy to be outraged. True. And I think when it comes to this movie, this is kind of a prime example of what has happened to our society, specifically with pop culture. People want to be upset, and so they find the smallest things to nitpick and be pissed off about. With this trailer comes the fact that Tom Holland referred to Odysseus as dad instead of father.
Oh God!
Right off the bat, I can say
dad didn't exist back in ancient Greece.
Yeah, which I did research. Apparently, dad was not common until the 1500s, which In a quick defense, dumb writing. Like I don't know what the need to do that is, but people are like, this movie's gonna suck because he says dad. People are upset with the original trailer that the armor was not accurate to the times. Excuse me, sorry, this is me coughing up bullshit. I think if you look at the armor of the times versus what's in the movie, much more exciting. And then
Yes.
what people are outraged that Lupita Nyong'o is going to be playing Helen of Troy because obviously she's a black woman. Kind of just all that. That's kind of been
racism there.
The main discourse around this movie that I've seen online, because unfortunately I'm chronically online, is a lot of nonsense like that. People love to just suck any fun we can have out of it. People are upset it's Tom Holland because Tom Holland is, he's in everything and he really cannot age out of being like that 18, 19-year-old role. I guess that's something I can understand. I'm excited for Tom Holland. He looks great in Spider-Man 2, which we can also talk about in that new trailer. Don't get it. I don't know if you, I think Brian Wong, who is somebody who is much more happier not being kind of like glued to the internet like we are. I don't think he's the type of person that will see things like this. I see things like this. I hate it. I think people suck when it comes to movies and TV now. Kind of a prime example, but I'm very excited for this movie. I think it looks really good. Christopher Nolan does not miss for me. Even Tenet, which was an ambitious movie that I think was really not the greatest. It's still a fantastic movie and looks great, sounds great. I like Oppenheimer, one of the best movies of the past, decade. What is not to be excited about with this movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, like you said, people want to either be mad because being mad's fun. It's very fun to be upset about stuff, or they're just like doing it for engagement. Because I've learned, I've been doing Those Fake Nerds channel like every day for the last couple of months. And when I have a negative story, gets pretty good views compared to a positive story. People aren't as excited about that. So I think a lot of what is happening now, whether it's TikTok or even Twitter, now that the added views to it and monetization, people just want to get a rise, or they're just so miserable that all they can do is pick out all the negative things instead of being like, wow, that looks like a really cool movie. Can't wait to see that.
I think a lot of it has to do, obviously, politically. Everything people want every politics to be involved in everything. They compare everything in their movies, their TV, their sports, their video games. They want to know political alignments and so naturally, Lupita Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy, who was potentially in real life maybe a white woman. I don't know. I don't even think Helen of Troy was technically a real person, right? It's technically a book.
Yeah.
Allegedly that's how the war, right, the face that launched 1,000 ships, we don't know what she looked like because that was so long ago. The outrage over that obviously goes to people that just don't want to see a black woman playing that role. And then we have the other side of people bitching about Tom Holland. Tom Holland's, a little beta boy. I kind of get that too. I don't agree with it. I think he looks great in Spider-Man. He looks like he's kind of put on a lot of weight muscle-wise. I think he's also supposed to be playing a younger character in this. So full disclosure, I never read the Odyssey. I would not put myself through that snooze fest.
No.
So
I
did not have
freshman English teacher didn't stick you with the Odyssey. That's crazy.
No, bro. I was in a freshman English class where, we were still trying to write our names out. So I was not exactly reading the Odyssey my freshman year of high school.
Have you seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I have. Yeah. And I know
that is the
kind
Odyssey.
Of like the inspiration. Yeah. And which I think is a great movie. So
great movie. Yeah.
Then we got the armor. Like, it's just, it's so, this talk is actually probably less about the Odyssey because I can't sit here and critique a movie that has not come out yet. That won't be out until the late summer. I think it's July. So around the middle of the summer. I guess to stay on track with the Odyssey
summer movie. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, this is actually I think this is a great summer for movies. One of the better ones we've had recently. I'm going to pull up a list while I'm kind of talking about this, but the Odyssey is coming out in IMAX. We have 2 legitimate IMAXs in Massachusetts. We have both of which are the Jordan's Furniture IMAXs, which we've talked about before. And I think the AMC I think in Assembly Row in Boston or wherever it is in Boston. I think that is technically a real IMAX too. The rest are all like those Limaxes, or maybe the AMC one's a Limax too. And then Providence, at the Providence Mall, has a theater that is able to show 70 millimeter. And I think it's the only one in New England, or once again, fact check me, there might be one out in Boston. I think outside of Boston, it's the only one in New England. And I saw Oppenheimer 70 millimeter there, and it was gorgeous and different from the Jordan's Furniture theaters, is that you're able to pre-select your seat. So it's assigned seating, which is like, I think every theater should be that way. I don't think I should be punished for showing up early to a movie like I am at the Jordan's Furniture. I show up a little bit early, and then you're forced to push all the way in. So even though you're one of the first people there, you want to get the best seat, you're forced to basically kind of sit in the middle. And if you have to pee at any point during that movie, you have to decide, do I want to get up and walk in front of probably like 100 people on either side? Because anybody who doesn't know the Jordan's Furnitures in Massachusetts, the movie theaters, the IMAX and the quality and the sound and all that is unbelievable. It's like, it really cannot be beat with other theaters, but it is a Coliseum seating. It is only 2 rows on each side, on each ends. And then there are probably about 150 to 200 seats in each row. And so if you're in the middle of the row, which is where you kind of want to be when you see these movies, which means you have to get there typically around an hour, maybe potentially more, depending on what kind of movie it is. I think Star Wars Force Awakens, when that came out, I got there 2 hours before the movie opened. Crazy. And I was like 3rd row up, which to kind of show you, 3rd row up in IMAX in Coliseum seating is not good. So kind of give you an idea to how crazy some of the people around this area can get with going to IMAX. If you have to pee,
when we saw Ad Astra, I feel like we showed up pretty early, and like we weren't the first ones in line for that. It wasn't even like the opening weekend, I don't think.
No, it was like or it was, I think we went on like the Thursday release of it, to be honest with you.
Oh, did we? My bad.
I think we did. Or it was like a Friday. I think it was the pretty early that came on. But even the Natick IMAX is smaller, is like half the size of the Reading IMAX. Right. We've been to the Reading IMAX together too. We saw Ready Player One there, I believe. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And it was awesome.
So if you got to pee at any point during these movies, it sucks. That's my side tangent of the episode. Love the Jordan's Furnitures, but if you have to go to the bathroom at any point and you're one of the people that would like to get there early for the movie, which you kind of have to get a good seat, you're forced to push in, and they reward people that get there late, like right before the movie, to get end seats, which is not fair. So long story short, back to the Providence IMAX, Providence Mall, you were able to select your seating there. Plus they have the ability to show 70 millimeter. I saw Oppenheimer there. It was epic. I think 70 millimeter is definitely worth it. Turns out apparently the projector that showed Oppenheimer was broken by Oppenheimer because of like how massive the reel was. And so I do not know if 70 millimeter Odyssey will be shown at that IMAX. But what got me to this point is that tickets for the Odyssey went on sale, I believe, at the end of last summer for 70 millimeter IMAX.
Right.
It was either like late August, early September. It was around that time frame where I believe they started to go on sale. Sold out almost immediately. I think like tickets now, I bet you if you look it up, I think tickets now, Odyssey IMAX New York City, I think are like being sold on like eBay and stuff. I could be wrong. Resale.
That's insane. You usually only see that stuff at like a sporting event, very rarely a movie, but I guess that's just the power of Christopher Nolan, just being so highly regarded that, you know, people want to get these tickets so desperately that they'd buy them secondhand. So that is crazy for me.
Tickets for the Odyssey and 70 millimeter IMAX at AMC in Lincoln Square in New York City sold out almost instantly, with 95% of seats gone in an hour. High demand caused immediate resale, with tickets listed currently for $300 to $400, up from the $25 to $28 retail. So
would you pay that much, Dylan?
No,
yeah,
absolutely not. No, because Jordan's Furniture tickets have not gone on sale yet. My preference is to see it in Providence. I'd love for you to tag along so you can experience it. But if they fix
Yeah,
the
I love
70
the
millimeter,
Providence
assuming.
Mall. It's a great mall. Has I think level 99 could go there first and then hit up the movie.
So yeah, and I guess like it was a showcase. I guess something called Apple Cinemas, which I don't think it's the Apple like Apple brand. I think they're just called Apple Cinemas. Purchased that theater, so I think like it's up in question of what's going on with that projector. But my hope, I think I saw somewhere that their hope is that they will have it ready for the Odyssey. But tickets have not gone on sale for that Providence theater, so I'm looking out for that. Long story short, somehow how we got to talking about the Providence and Joins Furniture IMAXs and Odyssey is this movie is going to be kind of the talking point of the entire summer, I think. And we have a really, really great summer coming up. I'm pulling up the list now. Summer 2026 movies. When I was looking at this list earlier, I was kind of shocked. So let's go down this list. Devil Wears Prada does not count because that already came out. I'm skipping all these May ones. Let's kind of get really anything. We'll start with we have The Mandalorian coming out May 22nd. We have, I'm kind of going to go for it. We have that Backrooms movie, which that's going to make a shitload of money. I believe that comes out either Memorial Day weekend or the weekend after.
Yeah, I actually followed like that guy making his YouTube shorts. He is young, but he is a very talented like creative. I am very excited for the Backrooms.
Who's directing it? It seemed Kane Parsons. Yeah.
It's his first. He's like what, like 20, something like that. He's super young. Kane Parsons, born in 2005. Yeah, so he's 21.
Oh wow!
He started the YouTube series when he was in high school. It's really well done. I can't wait. I think this is what like A24 is made for. Find these creatives who, have no budget and they're doing it on their own and, give them a shot at it,
A24 has obviously been excelling at that. So A24, we could do a whole podcast on how important A24 has been to like the current state of cinema, because I think when you look at all the slop that we're continuously fed, like the DC, the Marvels, luckily I'm all in on Doomsday on Marvel. I think that on Doomsday, obviously because we have Dune 3 potentially. I think Doomsday ended up budging and move. I don't want to get out of line. We'll do a whole. The slop we're getting with DC, Marvel, kind of like everything. Like I think that's another thing too, is that people's built-in expectations are that these things are not going to be good, and the anticipation is not going to be worth it. There's another property, perhaps a video game, that we'll be talking about where that could potentially be the case too. Let's continue moving down this list. So then we have Pressure, which is the Brendan Fraser led flick where he's playing Dwight D. Eisenhower about the D-Day invasion. Somebody like me, I'm excited for that. I don't know how well that will do at the box office. We have Masters.
That's when I'm going to hit my dad up and be like, "I want to go see this."
That's the ultimate dad movie. Yeah. We have Master of the Universe, which I didn't know really nothing about, like He-Man and all that stuff. I think this movie actually looks really cool. I am pro whenever you can get to the theater, go to the theater, but it's not always it's much easier said than done for a lot of people, especially older people with kids like myself and people, the movie theater prices. So I get we need to go to the theaters to try to save these theaters, but I think they also have to compromise a little bit in some sort of fashion, whether it's with the food, ticket prices, things like that. I think that's something has to give. But once again, that can maybe be a whole separate episode that we can do. But this is a very pro theater podcast, so I'm never going to say that this is something that we can wait to see at home. But Masters of the Universe is potentially something that kind of borders on that for me. But any of those epic sci-fi movies or some fantasy movies, I would say, are ones that I would prefer to see in theaters for sure.
I've never been a big He-Man person either. Definitely something like I occasionally watched when I was a kid, but I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, I grew up on He-Man, but it does look like it could be cool. The guy who they have playing He-Man looks awesome. Like it's I'm excited for that.
We have Scary Movie 5, which is a movie I am excited for. It is a movie I would want to see in theaters. Scary Movie coming out June 5th. I don't know if I just said Scary Movie 5, but it's scary. It's just called Scary Movie, coming out June 5th. Obviously, our generation grew up on the scary movies, grew up on
Yes.
Scream. Scary movies were very pivotal to my childhood. Probably gave me a lot of the humor I have today. I am very much looking forward to this. They have a lot of the original cast coming back. They have the Wayans Bros coming back, Anthony Anderson. They have Anna Faris, Regina Hall, who was in the best movie of the year last year, one battle after another. She was fantastic. She will be returning to the screen again. Scary Movie 5, that's a lot of fun. Early June, too. I feel like that's like a good slot for where you're kind of getting prepped for the summer. I think that's when the movies start really taking off. Obviously, Memorial Day weekend is kind of when the summer blockbusters officially start. But Scary Movie 5, June 5th, that's a good day for it. Disclosure Day, and this is an interesting movie. The Spielberg movie, where I think the trailers look pretty awful, but Spielberg is much like Christopher Nolan. Spielberg almost never lets me down. There might be one or two Spielberg movies where I'm like on, but Spielberg very, very rarely misses. He's one of my favorite directors. That would be a movie. In theory, I want to see in theaters, but something about the trailer does not necessarily pull me in.
I'm a big fan of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, so a new Alien Spielberg movie, I'm optimistic that it will be good.
A quick honorable mention as I'm scrolling through this list: The Death of Robin Hood, where Hugh Jackman is playing Robin Hood. Has Jodie Comer, Bill Skarsgård, Noah Jupe. Don't know if this is the Fringe. It's an A24 movie, Fringe theater going experience for me. But once again, I will never put off going to the theater if I can. So that's it. I have the showcase because I used to be a big AMC A-lister guy, especially when we used to go into the office. We worked in an office in Framingham. We had the Framingham Natick AMC right there. Much more perfect. I did not have 3 kids at the time. 3 movies a week, $25 a month. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, for me, I also lived like 10 minutes away from that theater. It was a dream. Like as someone who loves movies, you can't get better than that.
I think it's still around AMC A-list, and I think it still does well. I think they've made a lot of changes to it. I currently have the showcase equivalent because the theater close to me is a showcase, and it is, I think, it might be $20 a month, but it's 3 movies a month, and I typically am able to get to the theater and see that, and you get a lot of really good like food rewards from it too, and discounts and all that stuff. So the showcase one is worth it too. And the reason I bring that up because movies like The Death of Robin Hood, I don't know if I would go out and pay for it on my own at a theater, but having that pass definitely incentivizes me more to want to go see it. So we have The Death of Robin Hood, and then June 19th, we have Toy Story 5 coming out. That's going to make $1 billion. The Invite, this is it's a Olivia Wilde directed movie. This stars Seth Rogen, Edward Norton, Penelope Cruz, along with Olivia Wilde. That is going to be one that's going to make some noise, I think. Olivia Wilde, obviously, I shouldn't say a controversial director because I think that she's a good director, but she had that last movie with Harry Styles and obviously all that stuff that unfolded with her marriage. Then the Harry Styles spitting, or did he not spit on Chris Pine?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
During all that.
That was a moment. That was fun.
So that'd be cool. I think it was a big Sundance movie, so that might be like a big award movie. But that comes out June 26th. We have the Jackass final movie, The Best and Last, coming out also on June 26th, which is, I think it's like a celebration of all the previous 4 Jackass movies. Along with there is going to be more stunts in it too. I think the big thing is that Bam is apparently coming back. He's going to be featured heavy in like all the older clips, but I think I saw a new clip of that Bam is also back. That's going to be huge for Jackass fans. Another thing, I just grew up loving Jackass. I think most people did. It was just huge. People that were
that in Viva La Bam, like my God.
That was that we've talked about before on the Blindsiders and on our Trader Show, Meet You at Breakfast. That era of MTV is like cannot be beat. That was
really good.
That was the best. The Kane Parsons of the world, who were born in 2005, cannot understand possibly.
No, he has no idea.
No, but he's 20 years old and he's directing his first. That is like that's insane. Jackass June 26th. Then we have what I think is kind of the first, I guess we're not kind of the Mandalorian Grogu, the first kind of like major IP movie that's going to be coming out, not including Toy Story. So I guess I named 2 others. Supergirl comes out June 26th. I think this movie looks great, building off of the hype that came with Superman last year, which I thought was fantastic. I
Yeah,
am all
man,
in
that
on this.
was really fun. That was just a good old-fashioned theater experience,
This is not directed by our boy, but it
James
has
Gunn. Yeah.
James Gunn, but it has big Guardians of the Galaxy vibes to it. I love Millie Alcock. I think that she is going to do great as Supergirl. I'm very excited for this. June 26th is actually happened to be my birthday, so there's a lot of movies coming out
Yeah,
that day.
happy
So
birthday to you.
thanks, man. I'm
And
excited for that. Movie I'm not excited for, and we're getting into shit that nobody asked for. Moana live action. This is kind of on trend with Disney creating live action movies that they really didn't need to do that. The Lion King one stunk. Let's see what else. I think the Cinderella one stunk. The only one I remember actually being okay was the Aladdin one. I remember liking the Aladdin one.
I was about to say that. I was like, I like that one.
I don't think I ever watched the Mulan live action, but I think people were like so on that too. But Moana, July 10th, The Rock is playing Maui again, right? So he's one for one, probably going to be the same exact movie, much like The Lion King was.
It's going to be say, and the original Moana was great, but do I need to see a live action? I don't know.
Especially when Moana 2 came out 2 years ago.
That's a good point. Although I didn't see it. Is that any good?
As somebody with kids, I have seen it a lot, and I can't tell you
anything
about it. The songs are good.
Yeah, so like it's just I kind of got it with some of the old, like when it was like Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that. It's like, all right, these are old, comparatively. Moana just came out, like what, 2017?
Yes.
Seems a pretty quick turnaround for a live action.
Yeah.
They wanted to do it, I guess, while The Rock was still like jacked as hell.
Speaking of controversial, how can we forget Snow White that came out last year? That was one of the biggest flops of all time. That Peter Dinklage, that rat, sold out his fellow little people actors, saying that they should not cast little people because they would be offensive. Apparently, only Peter Dinklage wants the little people roles, and so they ended up CGIing the dwarfs in that Snow White movie, and that was bullshit, I think, and the little people of the industry are very upset about that. Shout out Brad Williams, the comedian. He goes into that. Fuck Peter Dinklage. Let's move on. The Odyssey, July 17th. That is obviously what kind of got us here. July 17th. I don't know how they're going to follow up Moana still being in theaters a week before, but the Odyssey, July 17th. Once again, let's go through this cast. We have Zendaya, who is the hottest actress around right now. She's in everything. We have Robert Pattinson, who's apparently playing the bad guy based on that new trailer, or one of the bad guys. All in a Rob Pattinson, who's also one of the hottest actors right now. They actually just had a movie that came out together, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, that I might actually watch tonight when we get off of this, about them getting married. I'm forgetting the name of it, whatever it's called. Tom Holland, who is going to have another massive movie that we're going to talk about shortly after this. Lupita Nyong'o is a fantastic actress. Charlize Theron, another fantastic actress. Elliot Page, Mia Goth, John Barenthal, Samantha Morton, Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, John Lasagna. Huge cast. Christopher Nolan, same movie. That is going to be a movie I think that we're talking about come awards season 2, and I hope that they follow the path that Oppenheimer did. But Odyssey, it's going to be massive. I don't know if it's going to be $1 billion massive, but I think they better hope it is. How much money did Oppenheimer make? Because I think if Oppenheimer,
I feel like it was like, I want to say 800 million, something like that.
Box office 975 million worldwide. So they were very
so
close.
Crazy for a biopic.
I feel like if Oppenheimer did that, then this movie is for sure going to cross $1 billion. So heard it here first. Odyssey is going to make $1 billion.
I believe it.
Let's scroll down this. I'm looking at this list. Cooper Hoffman in a movie called I Want Your Sex, which is also featuring Olivia Wilde. Don't know the plot of this, but Cooper Hoffman, obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, fantastic actor. One of the actors to watch that is coming up. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's great. I like that him and what's James Gandolfini's son's name?
Um, James Gandolfini's son, Michael Gandolfini.
Michael. He was on a podcast recently. He said that he and Cooper, they're like really good friends, which is fun. You know, nepo baby friends,
Yeah, that
but both
they're
really good actors in their own for their own. You know,
but you're not a nepo baby if your parents dead, like Philip
right?
Seymour
Yeah,
Hoffman and James Gandolfini are. So that was the joke that they said.
it's very funny, very funny. But no, I think they're both very talented actors. And I watched The Long Walk recently. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yep.
It was good. You know,
Was good.
and like it was pretty intense for those types of movies. So excited for anything that he does.
Following up this, the movie that I assume will probably make the most money this summer, beating Moana, beating Toy Story 5. That might be a hot take. I don't know. Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out July
Right.
31st, has a very hearty 2-week window after Odyssey releases. July 31st. I think that's a great slot for it. I think the trailers look great. You obviously we have Sadie Sink, who is apparently potentially playing Jean Grey, or that's like the rumor. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, Zendaya's back. We have Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. I think Tom Holland looks great. He looks buff. I think it's going to be a great Spider-Man movie. We have John Barenthal. We have Michael Mando from Better Call Saul, who's playing Scorpion. I think we have Tremel Tillman from Severance, who is a great actor. This movie's going to rock. As long as it doesn't suck, I think this is going to be the official kind of return to the MCU's like premiere status. I think it's going to be needed. I loved Fantastic Four, but it was not like Fantastic Four, which I didn't see in theaters, was not one that I was like, oh my god. But I thought it was a step in the right direction. Did not like Thunderbolts. Did not think that was very good. I'm hoping this is like this is going to put Marvel back to where they need to be before Doomsday.
Yeah, so when I went to see Superman, I had the choice between Fantastic Four and Superman. I ended up going Superman and not seeing Fantastic Four in the theaters either, though I did like it. I liked Thunderbolts. I did see that in theaters. I thought it was fine. Spider-Man's always gonna make bank, right? Even like the lesser Spider-Man, Spider-Man 3, the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, those still made tons of money. Like it's always going to be a popular franchise because everybody loves Spidey. You know, I mean, I'm sure, you know, did we see Endgame together? I can't remember, but Endgame, when Spider-Man came out of that portal, crowd went wild. Like he's everyone's favorite.
Yeah. So 2 billion, no. Over $1 billion, easy, yes.
Yeah.
Which they're gonna get the hype to head into Doomsday. I think they're gonna build off Fantastic Four. I was not a Thunderbolts fan, like I said. I thought people like it was a fun movie, I guess. Sure, there were parts of it I really liked. People kind of talked it into being like, "Oh, this is like Marvel's so back." That was not a Marvel's back movie. That was like people were trying to talk themselves into Marvel being back. And I think that was the case there. That was not the case for me. I very much. I said I liked it earlier when you said that it was okay. I disagree. It was fun, but I think it like fringed on being kind of like a shit movie. So I hope that that's not the case with Spider-Man.
Right. Oh man.
To quickly wrap up our list, there's not too many notable movies like Super Troopers 3. That's probably not a big movie. I'm super excited for it. I like the original Super Troopers. There was a movie coming out on August 14th called The End of Oak Street, which is starring Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, which is from the director that did It Follows and Under Silver Lake, which are both very good movies.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something to look forward to. I think that's just a great pairing too with Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. That's a lot of fun.
Anne Hathaway also in the Odyssey. I don't remember if we called that out, but what a cast there. But yeah, I love any kind of movie that's weird and mysterious. So I'm down for that.
We have, let's see, I'm going through here. Apparently we have another Matthew McConaughey movie coming out, which I don't think I've seen a trailer for at all. It's called The Rivals of Mziah King. So
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey is one of those guys I'm typically immediately in. And it is
Yeah.
a movie that also stars Kurt Russell, Cole Sprouse. So those are a couple pretty reputable names. So I guess we'll keep an eye on that movie. And then to finish the summer, we have The Dog Stars, which is Ridley Scott's new movie. Ridley Scott, I think, unfortunately, kind of swung and missed with Napoleon. I thought the battle sequences in that movie were great, but the movie itself kind of fell a little bit flat for me. But this is a movie that is starring Guy Pearce, Mark Qualley, Josh Brolin, and Jacob Elordi, who, speaking of hot stars right now, Jacob Elordi is another one that is just massive. Apparently, maybe potentially the next James Bond. That was the rumor on the street for a little while. But Josh Brolin, Mark Qualley, Guy Pearce, Jacob Elordi, count me in. Ridley Scott, I don't know if he's made a movie outside of Napoleon and like maybe one or two others that I did not love. Ridley Scott, one of those guys that just makes movies I genuinely love. So I'm very excited for this. The premise is concerns the latest from Ridley Scott concerns a pilot, Jacob Elordi, who survives a deadly global pandemic and is left to navigate the post-apocalypse with his faithful pooch and crusty old Marine Josh Brolin on an airbase. When one of his searches for supplies ends in disaster, he ends up befriending a rancher, Guy Pearce, and his daughter, Margaret Qualley. I'm not saying Margaret Qualley is a doctor. Readers of Peter Hellfire's 2012 novel know what's in store for our hero. The rest will have to head to the theater to find out. So I'm all in. Great cast, great director. I think this is a great summer for great directors, great cast. I think that it's gonna be a good year. Good year. And like at the end of the year, we have the Doomsdays and we have Dune 3, which are going to be probably the two highest grossing movies of the entire year. Maybe if Spider-Man doesn't beat both of them. So 2026 is shaping up to be a great year. And we had Project Hail Mary, which came out so far, which I loved. Project Hail Mary was fantastic. And then we had another movie that we watched a trailer for right before I got on here, which was the Resident Evil movie.
Yeah. So I am somebody who was a fan of the was it Paul W.S. Anderson, whatever his name is, who made the original Resident Evil movies, like most of the original 6. They are not really very faithful, and they're not faithful at all to the source material. I didn't hate that. They had characters from the games in them, and that was very fun. They made a Welcome to Raccoon City movie, which tried to adapt the first game and the second game, which I think it should have focused on one instead of trying to do both at once, and that's what hurt that. So that didn't work out, and now Zach Krager, fresh off Weapons, which is really good, and Barbarian, which I liked a lot. I think people generally think is good. They gave him like, what movie do you want to do? And he was like, I'll do Resident Evil. And this looks good. It, again, doesn't look like the game Resident Evil, but I think that's okay.
It has a cast consisting of Austin Abrams, who was, I think, one of the standouts from Weapons. I think he was great. If you saw Weapons, he was kind of like the junkie that broke into the house. See Weapons if you want to get that full story. Paul Walter Hauser, who is personally for me one of my favorite actors. I think he's great. I think he's very likable on podcasts he's on. I think he's fantastic in everything he's done, but particularly he did, I believe it was called Blackbird on
Apple TV, right?
On Apple TV with Taron
Egerton.
Taron, yep. So, and they were both great in that, but I think he ended up winning an Emmy for that. Zach Krager is, talk about great directors. This movie is set to come out September 18th, so it's like literally right after the summer window ends. Zach Krager, for those for outside of Weapons and Barbarian, which I think are two of the better horror movies that we've had recently. Loved Weapons. I think Weapons is one of those movies that all of a sudden out of nowhere, everybody wanted to pretend like Weapons wasn't a great movie. Weapons was a fantastic movie. I loved it. But he is also one of the founding members of Whitest Kids You Know, which is if you grew up in the mid 2000s, early 2010s, Whitest Kids You Know, hilarious. I did not realize originally when I watched barbarian war weapons. That's where he was from. So that's pretty sweet. Zach Rieger is, if this is a hit, I think you officially put him towards the top of like best directors going right now.
Yeah. And I'll say this. So you said earlier, like Scary Movie has informed your comedic stuff. If it wasn't for Zach Krieger, Trevor Moore, The Wife's Kids You Know, we probably wouldn't be doing this podcast right now, because that is the show and their online sketches that got me into making sketches, that got me interested in video and editing and all that, and has led to all of the stuff that we make now. So, I'm always going to support his work, and I'm just really happy to see him doing so well,
Yeah, it's great. I think original horror is always fantastic, and obviously now seeing what he can do with an IP like Resident Evil, I am excited. I never was a huge Resident Evil guy. I like the games for the most part, but I never like fully played the games. There was the type of game where I played like I went over to my friend's house and he had it.
Yeah.
And, like that was a game we played together, but I never really dove into it. Like I didn't play the new Resident Evil, and I was never super into the movies when they came out. But this trailer, you told me to watch it, and I completely forgot Zach Rieger was doing this. Not only that, I did not realize it was coming out so soon after Weapons. So I'm all in on this movie. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It comes out in a really good window too, September 19th, where there's probably not going to be a whole lot going on at that time. So I hope it's able to make a bunch of money, which for Resident Evil, having that property, I think that they'll do pretty good, because there is a very, very, very dedicated Resident Evil fan base. So I think if it starts getting early good reviews, I think it's going to do very well, and I am excited for it.
I mean, if the other Resident Evil movies can do well, this certainly can. And, I think Resident Evil's kind of hot right now, right? Resident Evil Requiem just came out, made a ton of money, one of the best-selling games of the year, one of the best-selling Resident Evil games of all time. So it's all lining up for this to be a success.
Like I said, it's a good way to like kind of finish the summer. Technically, officially, it's still summer. I think September 19th, right? I don't think it's fall until September 20th or 21st. So
and it's nice too. You'll have like a good leg into October where people want to see scary movies. Like it could be a big success this year.
Then we're just pulling up. Yeah, and then I'm sure we'll do a fall preview too. We'll probably talk about this also towards the end of the summer, and then we'll talk about Dune 3. I'm going to do that a lot. Dune 3.
Any chance I can get you to watch the other Resident Evil movies in preparation for this one?
I can't promise anything, but I would be interested. Yeah,
I think it'd be a fun episode to do. Just like, what did Dylan think of these very 2000s movies?
I mean, I love a good 2000s, just mindless action movie. So I won't write especially action horror back then. I wouldn't write myself out, but
they're definitely like more mindless and more actiony as they go on.
I won't not commit. Put it that way.
Yeah. And it's fun too, because they just like each one will just be a radically different like genre, basically.
Yeah.
It's like these are all the same storyline, but they're just like, this one is, a really small story. This one is a city zombie movie. This one is a Mad Max style zombie movie. Like one's like the Matrix style. It's a lot, but they're fun if you're just like, I'm gonna have a good time with this. If you're looking for high quality cinema, probably not the best, but I'm a Resident Evil defender, I'll say.
And you should do so unapologetically. It's not wrong. You like what you like. I think like Resident Evil is, with our generation, it is a name everybody knows.
Yep.
And like it's very, I feel like it's pivotal when you talk about the millennial, like I said, early 2000s, mid 2000s, the early 2010s. I think Resident Evil is like kind of one of the main pop culture games you're going to hear about when people like think back to that time frame.
Yeah, you're like Mila Jokovic. You're like, oh, from the Resident Evil movies, love her. Not even The Fifth Element, though. That was probably a better movie.
Dazed and Confused, which I think was her.
Confused. Yep.
I think that was her
first one.
Her first movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for it. I want it to be good so bad. I would love for a Resident Evil movie to actually be good and not like a guilty pleasure, you know?
I agree. And I think there's nothing wrong with being excited. I think it's good to be excited for things. I've been excited for things before in my life.
That's
Um,
good.
I've been very excited for things. I've been excited for GTA 6 now, for which feels
Mhm.
like 10 years. Outside of Batman 2, which is talk about just naming off all these episodes are going to be able to do. I could do a whole thesis on why what has gone on with Batman 2 is a complete travesty. I think Matt Reeves should be thrown in jail. But we can discuss that another time. GTA 6 is allegedly supposed to come out this fall. Supposed to come out pretty soon originally, or not originally, but it was originally supposed to come out, I think, in like May 21st. Was the most recent window before it got pushed back. So it would have been this month. And then before that, I think it was last October. It was originally supposed to come out, been pushed back. We have not gotten any new trailer. We've not gotten any new, like, real official update, to be honest with you, from about GTA 6. A lot of AI slop's been thrown out there. A lot of people just creating AI, like, fake clips and trailers that they show to people, which is has gotten very annoying. GTA 6 still allegedly supposed to come out this fall. I'm still very excited for it. The wind has definitely been taken out of my sails, but I imagine when we get probably within a week or so of GTA, I will be all fired up for it. It's a game I know I'm going to buy, so I'm against pre-ordering anything for video games. I think it's bullshit. I think it's all a scam. But for a game like GTA 6, I would probably consider it. Allegedly, GTA 6 is a game that they want to try to make as expensive as possible because it has become as expensive as possible to make the game. A report came out most recently from Bloomberg that you sent me, Brian. A new GTA 6 article published by Bloomberg. Zelnick says, who I think is the guy that runs Take Two or is running the GTA production. I don't know. Zelnick says the expectations are so high and terrifying, which I can see. It's one of those too big to fail type scenarios. It's like the final season of Game of Thrones where there's like no way it could possibly be bad, but if it does, it's catastrophic to the industry, to the show, the game. It would be very, very, if GTA is a flop or if GTA sucks, if it has like a cyberpunk quality launch, I think that there will be riots in the streets, and I don't think that is being I don't think that's being dramatic, to be honest with you.
I just can't see it happening. You know, Rockstar's just too good. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is their last game that they made, right? And that game is so above and beyond, like even stuff that comes out today. Like they unless like everybody who helped make that quit, which I guess isn't completely unheard of in the video game industry, but like I don't know. I think it's gonna be awesome.
I mean, I do too, but it's all I'm scared. Like we brought up people's expectations are for things to fail or for things to stink these days. So I think what we get are incredibly long production times, a lot of failed promises, things that don't come about that we're told will. Happens all the times with TV, with movies, especially with video games. It happens a lot now. So I think people are reluctant about that. I know I'm a little scared, but I agree. I think it's too big to fail, but there are other things that have been too big to fail that have failed. Like final season of Game of Thrones, which I verbatim said. I said, this is too big to fail. It can't possibly be bad. I said the same thing about the Amazon Lord of the Rings show. I said, this is too big to fail. There's no way that this could possibly suck. It did. I said that about the housing market, and look what happened there. Too big to fail. It failed. The banking system failed. Called that when I was 13, 14 in 2007. I said this system is too big to fail, and it failed. Some other quick notes from here. Sony has a marketing deal with Rockstar, but it's not the reason why the game won't launch on PC day one. I believe for the casuals, the game did not, GTA 5 and original release did not launch on PC either.
No.
I don't think people realize how
Neither did Red Dead.
Yeah, how quite different the production needs to be. And I think especially for what the quote here is, Rockstar has historically gone the console first to serve the core customer, says Strauss, which I agree. I feel like, well, I should say, I feel like I just dropped my mic. Hold on.
No, so what Dylan was saying was basically GTA 5 released on, let's see, when did GTA 5 release? September 17th, 2013. And it took 2 years, essentially, a year and a half, 2 years for it to come to the PC on April 14th, 2015. I think a lot of this has to do with one, PlayStation 4 and 5 is where GTA 5 really makes its money. They make so much money off GTA Online. And that's like a huge reason why it's going to come out for consoles first. Another big reason, I don't think they want the first day for like tons of mods to get added to it. They want to have it presented in their vision before people on PC take over and start modding, Thomas the Tank Engine and everything else into it.
So I think the one kind of argument for to be pro PC, I have a game PC, I have a PlayStation 5 Pro. I favor my PS5 Pro for the most part, but if I had more of the convenience, that's why the Steam machine is something that intrigued me a lot. But I have both, and I feel like now more so than 2013. So I pulled up the numbers, and this is all AI generated by Google, so take this with a grain of salt.
Could just be completely wrong, but we're hoping.
Could be. Steam in 2013, Steam's peak concurrent users peaked at just over 7.6 million at the end of December 2013. Monthly users were roughly around 50 to 60 million following the significant rise from 2009 to 2013. As of early May in 2026, so in 2013, the numbers were 7.6 million that peaked on Steam. As of May, the Steam peak of 2026 was 42,686,000. So roughly, I don't know, what is that? Almost 5 times more than what it was in 2013. Steam reached 147 million active users in 2025. Video gaming is in a very different place now than it was in 2013 when GTA released. So, and when Red Dead released in 2018. So I understand the pushback. I think it should have been the expectation. Sucks, but I also think it is the case now. I don't want to like kind of make myself sound like an elitist asshole. I think most people, I shouldn't say most, a lot of people have both PCs and consoles to play on. And I think that they will do just fine. Because another quote from this art, I shouldn't say quote, another note from the article is, let's see, development costs have gone significantly up as AI's influence is notwithstanding, as they haven't seen cost declines yet. Selling 10 million units, a miraculous figure for most competitors, would be considered disastrous for this game.
That's crazy.
Some
That's
analysts
so crazy.
have forecasted it will exceed 25 million copies sold at launch. Too big to fail.
I believe it. I believe that if it is good, it will sell 25 million at launch. It'll sell 100 million copies. Like, how many copies has GTA 5 sold so far? Let's see. Over 225 million. So, like,
it's also had 3 upgrades since, right? It's had the PS3 to PS4 to the PS5, and it's probably gonna get a PS6 too. Watch. This is. I think the other important thing is that we need GTA to be good, both as a consumer, as a video game fan. Because I think if GTA fails, I think it's the type of thing that could completely destroy the video game market. They want to make it $80. They want to make it $90. They want to make it $100. I'm paying $100. I'll say it out loud. I don't want to. I will. I think most people will. They don't want to say it out loud because they don't want that price to happen. I don't want that to happen. I would pay $100 for GTA 6. I would pay for it the day of. I might even be an asshole and pay like $200 for GTA 6 when it comes out. I am a broken soul. I know I'm not the norm. I think other people have their priorities straight, even as a man with a family, with a wife and kids and responsibilities. I am reckless when it comes to video games, and I will pay the $200 for GTA. I just don't want to. With that said, I think that there is a good chance this game will be very expensive. I think it will not be $70. I think that we've already seen, what was the game that came out recently that was $80 at launch? I forget what it was.
Let me look that up.
Was it? It wasn't Call of Duty. Was it Battlefield? It wasn't Battlefield. $80 game at launch.
So Mario Kart World for Switch 2 was
That's what it was.
$79.99.
Yep.
And Outer Worlds 2 was gonna be 80, and then they were like,
Insane.
"Oh, there's not the demand for that," so
Yep.
they backed off.
Crazy. And I liked Outer Worlds 1, but I think Outer Worlds 1 was released as like a $30 or $40 game because it was not very long. So it's absolutely insane. Yeah, Mario Kart was the game I was thinking of. I have been very vocal in my stance of I think that Nintendo sucks. F Nintendo. I think that they are everything that is wrong with video games. They don't bring their prices down at all. The quality does not meet it. The Switch 2 has not justified the jump for anybody that had the Switch 1 originally, the jump to Switch 2. The games that have come out for Switch 2 have been disastrous. This is not talking about Nintendo, but it does make me worried of Sony, I think, is going in the direction of Nintendo where they're doing a lot of bullshit. They had you did a video of it on the channel talking about the new issue with Sony and PlayStation are saying that if you don't connect to the internet within 30 days, you will lose your license. Basically, you will forfeit your license for your digital game.
They did clarify that that's a one-time thing. They just took forever to actually let us know. That's you gotta buy a game, connect it to the internet one time within the first 30 days, and then you never have to do it again. But there's still like some questionable decisions from Sony for sure.
And does that affect the average person? No, probably not. But you can be upset about things that don't necessarily affect the average person. I think that the people in other countries where internet is not necessarily as readily available, that like I know I've seen videos of people that like take their systems to like Wi-Fi shops and stuff to like be able to play online. That would affect them, obviously. It's I don't know what Sony gains from that and what other people. Digital copy is somebody that buys digital movies all the time. The whole licensing thing, the big caveat of that is that I am also a big collector of physical media, so I am very pro buying physical. Especially once Best Buy got rid of physical Blu-rays, that was a big hit. But I think that they're kind of making a comeback a bit. I have a huge collection behind me on my green screen. Not a green screen, actually. I am actually in space on board the Wicked Good Show mothership.
Right.
But
right.
if I was
we have a whole room
behind
on the mothership of DVDs and Blu-rays.
Correct. I have a whole wall. I have see the ones coming up. I got Fight Club Steelbook. I'm a big Steelbook collector guy, but I have the biggest one I bought the Stranger Things 4K like premium collection that's coming out in July. Very excited for that. Anyway, long story short, I'm a very big proponent of buying physical media, but I also buy a lot of digital. I have a huge, massive library on my Apple for movies and TV. The licensing issue with video games that are bought digitally and with movies and with TV things that are bought digitally, it feels like something that there's a reckoning that's going to happen probably sometime in the next like 10, 15 years with our digital libraries. I don't know what that will be, but it feels like things like this with Sony trying to do this, which originally, like I said, they weren't even going to tell people about this. I think that's a real problem. I think that our digital libraries are in like the PS5 Pro I bought does not even have a disk drive in it. I think
you get the digital,
and I think the norm for a lot of them now is digital. I don't think that they're like selling a whole lot of the disc PS5 Pros. There's an attachment and extension you can buy to put on for it, but it's so. I think the norm for most people are buying digital now because obviously a lot of games like Switch doesn't even sell physical games anymore, right? They sell like they sell the box that has basically essentially a voucher code to buy it online.
Yeah, some of them are I think they're called like game passes or something like that.
Game keys or something like that.
Game keys. Yeah, game keys, that's it. Which is insane to me. I think that it's a losing battle, right? We're never gonna turn the tide of video games now, but I do still have the PS5 with the disc drive because PS5 is like my last stand on video games. Like Steam, obviously, is all digital. I have an Xbox Series S because that was the cheapest console I could get at the time. And I'm holding out with the PS5, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future there's just not like physical games at all. You know.
Well, the problem is that they're already talking about PS6, and I think they've clarified recently that we're still a few years off from PS6, but PlayStation 6 had started in discussions a little bit towards the end of last year of what was next for PlayStation, where I think it came out that a shocking amount of people were still playing on PS4 that did not get the PS5, because that's everything that happened with COVID. We had the issues with getting PS5s at launch. I remember it literally like kept me up at night back then because I was not able to get it. And then finally I overpaid. I didn't pay a scalper, which I was very happy about, but I overpaid buying a bundle I didn't care about on GameStop because that was the only one I was able to get my hands on. Most people don't have PS5s or just now getting on the PS5. On top of that, it very much feels like this generation of games for PS5 for PC and Xbox have not really warranted the leap onto next gen. As somebody, I have an OLED TV and the Pro, and even then, I find myself the more games I play are mainly games that came out like 5, 10, 15 years ago. Like right now, I'm replaying, speaking of Rockstar, LA Noire, having a blast. Looks great on the Pro, even though it's like I don't even think it upscales. It looks good though. Like the jump to PS6, for the first time ever, I legitimately don't know if I would get a PS6, but much like GTA, I could say that and we get within a week within it, and I'm going to pre-order it and like want to get it right away. So I think we as a video game community probably need to stand up and do something, but I think we also none of us are going to do something and don't want to do it at the same time because like we still want our games. It's just I don't know. The digital library stuff and the stuff with PlayStation does make me nervous. I think the cost of video games potentially going up and most likely going up past, they already have with Mario Kart, going up past $70. If GTA is 80, 90, like I said, I know I will pay it, but I don't know what the future will be. And like I said, if it's something where like GTA completely fails, which like I said, too big to fail, I don't think that'll happen. If it's a stinker of a game, and the online is probably going to be the biggest thing, it's going to be the biggest factor for GTA. GTA Online is going to be huge because even if you're just strictly a campaign story player, Grand Theft Auto, GTA 5 Online made more money than any of us could probably ever imagine. And they're going to try to do the exact same thing with GTA 6. That is going to be the biggest factor on what they will probably decide what is the success of GTA 6. I am very much hoping for a great campaign, as I always play the GTA campaigns. But my worry, which is the same thing that happened with sports games, is that they're going to focus too much on the microtransactions and the online because they know that's where the money is. And the campaign is going to suffer because of it, the same way that like franchise mode in video games has suffered because of it. I don't even bother buying sports games anymore because they've gotten so bland and so repetitive for anything that doesn't involve like loot crates and microtransactions and playing like Ultimate Team and all that. If that happens with GTA, I think that we're in a lot of trouble. I don't think studios will stop making RPG narrative driven games, but I think they will become more and more rare, or the budgets around them will become less and less. If like, how am I trying to spin this final point? GTA needs that to be successful for them to like warrant everything to be a success. But as a consumer of somebody who likes the campaign modes and the RPGs and stuff like that, like it worries me that if that's the more popular thing for GTA and they sell it a lot, but their story mode was shit, I feel like we're in for like a pretty bleak future because I don't think you can get bigger than what the hype is surrounding GTA, right? And so if that's what happens with GTA, I don't know like what other video game franchise can create that much excitement and that much money that would, like, Call of Duty's dead. Battlefield kind of flopped and just got very stale very quick. I think Battlefront.
I'll defend Battlefield. It launched, it was awesome, and then the lead developer of it died in a car crash. And ever since then, it hasn't been quite as great. Vince Zampella, basically the man who defined all of our childhoods, director of the Modern Warfare games, director of Titanfall, moved over to, did Apex Legends, moved over to Battlefield to help them. Battlefield 6 comes out. It's fucking awesome. Vince Zampella fucking crashes his sports car and dies. And it's been downhill since then. Reasonably so. Like the guy who's shepherding the game dies. It's going to be hard to, build on it, right?
And then I think they fired like their entire staff shortly after.
Yeah, fired a lot of
about
people.
A month ago, 2 months ago. EA laid off most of its staff across Battlefield Studios, and also a lot of them with DICE are the same people that I just said Battlefront 3. I think a lot of them were involved in Battlefront 3 too, and I think or Battlefront 2, which, like I said, we played last year when we did our podcast. I still play from time to time. I think it's a fantastic game.
It's very fun. Yeah.
And the hope was that we would get a 3. I don't think that is possible now. So I think the future for video games is scary. We have the James Bond game coming out. It looks great. Early gameplay reviews of it are very, very good. Wolverine coming out, which is a PlayStation exclusive. That is going to be a huge game if it's good.
I love all of the Insomniac Spider-Man games. So I can't imagine Wolverine will not be good, right?
But we have another game, which was originally the reason we wanted to start doing this podcast, which was Starfield. Starfield released on PlayStation 5 recently. I got it. I had it on Xbox, but the only reason I bought an Xbox was to play Starfield because it was a Bethesda game that released.
Which Xbox did you have? A Series S?
Is the X the better one? So I had the S. Yeah.
The X is the better one.
Didn't play it that much because it was literally the only game on Xbox I had that I wanted to play, and I just stopped playing. But I got it when it came out on PlayStation. Had a lot of fun at first. I hit a wall with it pretty quickly. I think it is a relatively kind of lifeless game. And Bethesda is probably my favorite studio outside of Rockstar for video games. And so that was a little disappointing. It seemed a little lazy and rushed. And like I mentioned too, we had launches like Cyberpunk. And like the Starfield's launch was pretty lackluster. I think overall, it was a poor reception, even though it was a Game Pass game when it launched. It is lifeless at points for a game that's large scale. I think it's a beautiful game, and there are a lot of things I like about it. I think it's a great mashup of like No Man's Sky and Fallout. But at the same time, I think both of those games do what Starfield's trying to do much better. So it's like if you want Fallout or you want No Man's Sky, you should go play those. Whereas I don't think Starfield was able to capture the magic of both of those games to warrant me to want to keep going back. Because like I just said, I'm playing LA Noire, and I was probably about 25 hours into Starfield.
Yeah, I also hit a wall with Starfield. I tried playing it again in preparation of this podcast. I think I told you before, I got stuck because I was in a mission that ended with a dogfight in space, and I couldn't beat it, and I was like too stubborn to just run away. I tried just running away. I played for like half an hour, went on to a new planet, was raiding like the base. I died and I hadn't saved, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not doing all that again.
I will go back to it. I can point out the exact moment I lost it. You go to a planet, I forget if it's called Neon or whatever it's called, where it is like all like kind of like cyberpunkish. I just finished playing Cyberpunk probably about a month before I started this.
It's not as good.
I was like, what the, like, I'm like, I can easily leave that planet if I want to, but in the past 3 times I've tried to repick it up again. I'm still on that planet and have missions to do. The UI of the game itself is not that good either. There are definitely a lot of things that like UI wise, gameplay wise, they did not do well. But mainly I think the biggest red flag of the entire game is the story is just not that captivating. I want to finish it. I probably will one day. Especially as somebody that's replayed Skyrim probably about 4 or 5 times all the way through. Somebody that's replayed Fallout 4 probably about 2 or 3 times completely all the way through. I will eventually like finish and want to replay it, but man, yeah, when we first started talking about Starfield, I was like, this is great. I'm really enjoying it. It'll be a lot of fun to kind of talk about it and say this game is overhated, but I feel like now I fully get what a lot of these people who had put in
You
these
get it.
hours are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is, it doesn't do any one thing particularly well, and I think that that is a huge problem.
No, I agree. It's less than the sum of its parts somehow. Like
Yep.
there's stuff that's likable about it, but it doesn't come together very well. It's like, when someone adds all the sodas together in a soda machine, and you're like, this really doesn't taste that good.
Yeah.
But individually, the sodas are great.
I think that's like pretty much exactly how you could describe Starfield. Yeah. It's like, it's like when you go to Cumberland Farms and you mix up all the slushy flavors in one. It just looks
Right.
looks like shit. Just tastes like it all tastes. It tastes like everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I'm very hopeful that the next Elder Scrolls will be pretty good. I think
If we ever get it.
if we ever get it, that's good. You know what's fucked up, Dylan? It is longer, a lot longer by now, since we got the teaser for the new Elder Scrolls than it was between getting that teaser and the last Elder Scrolls coming out.
So that is a gross fact. It feels very, very real. I have another fact I want to hit you with. It's just something I brought up recently. When the Batman 2 is released in 2027, assuming it gets released in 2027, Rob Pattinson will be approximately 40 to 41 years old, making him roughly 3 to 4 years older than Christian Bale was when he finished The Dark Knight Rises.
Yep, he's going to be like almost the same age as Ben Affleck was when he started playing Batman as like the old Batman. And this is supposed to be the young Batman.
There's two things in that sentence that kind of shocked me. One, that Christian Bale was only 37 when Dark Knight Rises came out. I thought for sure he would be in his 40s at that point. Two is obviously, Rob Pattinson, when he makes Batman 2, will be 3, almost 4 years older than Christian Bale was in Dark Knight Rises, which is just disgusting. I can do a whole rant about what has happened with the Batman 2. And it's a similar discussion across the field of TV shows now. It's not just affecting video games, it's affecting TVs, movies. They preach take as much time as you need so we get the quality product. I feel like that is not the case. I think it's a cop out for a lot of these studios, a lot of these HBO, for example. They've already confirmed that there will be 2-year gaps in between Harry Potter, which is kind of like we're just doing exactly what we did with the movie.
Yeah, it's like, why are we doing it as a show then?
Which I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for that, but it's just like House of the Dragon, 2 years. The Pit, thank God for the Pit, best show on TV right now. The Pit is apparently staying consistent with one season a year. Our lovely Survivor still goes. We got 2 seasons a year. The Traitors are apparently we're sticking with 1 season a year, potentially maybe 2 next year. That is a discussion we can have on a different show. But it feels like the norm now, where and then it goes back to expectations and concern, which has kind of been the theme of this entire episode of you. And it happened with Brian Wong, who's maybe our biggest fan of Wicked Good Show. You wait too long for something you like, and expectations get really high, and then you just let down. And that feels like the norm. It's probably Brian Wong right now asleep listening to this podcast. When you wait for things for a long time, you're often let down by them, and they can't meet your expectations. And it feels like that is the case with TV shows, video games, movies now. But it makes you appreciate those bangers even more, though. And I'm hoping that this is the year of bangers with Spider-Man, with Doomsday, with Dune 3, with Odyssey, with GTA 6, with House of the Dragon Season 3, with everything we've talked about. So that is my hope and dreams for the rest of 2026, Brian. I hope we can continue to keep talking about it here on the show. I can't believe we've gone this long. Is there anything else you would like to get out to the people before we head out here?
No, I think this is very fun to do. I'm certainly down to continue doing that. I want to, actually stream some games together as well. think that'd be very fun. And I mean, I'm always happy to talk about movies, Dylan. You know me, and television shows. We got a new trailer for House of the Dragon. I thought that was pretty good. Hopeful that it will be as good. I feel like Night of the Seven Kingdoms really revitalized a lot of hope for that series or that whole world. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, check out the main channel, Wicked Everything. Been making lots of videos on there. Those Fake Nerds have been doing daily news videos over on that channel. Of course, Better Radio, which hosts all of our podcasts, including our Survivor podcast and our Traders podcast. We've been having so much fun covering reality television there. And yeah, other than that, thanks for listening.
I think you pulled up probably the worst offender of this entire thing. Game of Thrones, the Winds of Winter, the wait from Winds of Winter to now. Will they ever get it? Will it even meet the expectations that people are thinking? I think that sums up the episode perfectly. George R. R. Martin is the root of all problems that are going on in this world. So I am Dylan signing out. Follow us on the Blindsiders for Survivor Talk. Meet you at breakfast.
We'll be back on Friday this week. Yep. No Thursday.
Yep. Brian Wong, Scott, if you're listening, we will not be recording Thursday. Daryl, if you're listening, we will not be recording Thursday. Brent, if you're listening, our new fan, we will not be recording Thursday. We'll be recording Friday this week, hopefully to discuss another good episode. So find us there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Al.